Welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law. Windshield time. It's been a few days since my last posting. I apologize for that. Work, the family. Anyway, today I'm going to talk about the whole concept of constructive possession. Constructive possession is legal fiction where we say you have possession of something even if you actually don't have possession of it. There are a lot of legal fictions in law. That's where we determine that you are something that you may not be. In this case, constructive possession is a concept that you have possession of an item. Let's say drugs, for example, in your car or in a car. You're a passenger in a car. The driver gets stopped. Let's say, for example, that the stop is righteous. He was doing 75 in a 60. Okay. Police officer walks up and says, "I smell weed." As y'all step out of the car, searches the car. Underneath the passenger seat, inside a metal box in a black baggie, there is in a black Ziploc zip bag in the metal box. Inside that black zip bag, there is a baggie containing residue that the officer believes is methamphetamine. Maybe he does a field test. Some areas, maybe they just say, "Hey, that looks like meth." Regardless, at this point, they want to know whose it is. So they ask everybody, "Is this yours? Is this yours? Is this yours?" And in the course of that interaction, invariably, everybody says no. Or, then they threaten to take everybody to jail unless somebody claims it. Then you get somebody who feels bad. Maybe they actually did possess it, and they stuck it there, and they step up and they say, "Well, it's mine. I don't want anybody else to get in trouble." The officer may arrest him. The officer may still arrest everybody in the car under the concept of constructive possession. Now, what they have to prove to make their case under constructive possession is knowing and intent to exercise dominion and control. You have to know the substance is there, and you have to intend to exercise dominion and control, or you are exercising dominion and control over it. So, if you don't know that the substance is there, and they can't prove that you knew the substance or should have known the substance is there, then you're going to beat that prong. Here are the facts that go against you in that situation, and the reasoning that goes against you. It's your car. There's an argument that you should know what's in your car. Now, any defense attorney and any thinking person will counter that if they give it some thought. Because when was the last time you took the seats out of your car and looked up underneath the seat? I never have. When was the last time you took the wheels off to see if there's anything inside the tires? I never have. When was the last time you pulled your gas tank to see if there was any baggage of cocaine floating around in there? I never have. If you've ever brought your car to the shop, you don't know what's in it. Even a brand new car. Mechanic or the detail guy on the lot, a bag of weed might have fallen out of his pocket up underneath your seat. Unless you have cleaned up underneath your seat, you don't know. What about on the dashboard? A lot of people today may not remember the DeLorean. DeLorean was a car that was ahead of its time. It was a fantastic car. But like most small car companies, the owner had difficulty making money. It It was an expensive car. A stainless steel body. Anyway, it was great. But he made his money smuggling cocaine inside the car. You know, they'd pack cocaine in the car and ship it in like that. And you know, it worked for a while. So ultimately, you don't know what is in your car or what has been in your car. And that's why you never agree to a search. Never consent to a search. So the constructive possession argument, first knowing. You have to know. Now, there is another YouTube lawyer, a former cop out of Florida. I'll add a link to the description to his video. But he told a story about a former client of his that he represented on a marijuana bust, misdemeanor marijuana bust. The client was stopped. The officer said he smelled weed, and then searched the car. In the back seat of his car, his client's car, the client had a women's denim jacket, a smaller size, you know, relatively small size. In that denim jacket, there was a bag of weed. Well, the officer asked him, well, you know, whose jacket is this? It clearly wasn't the client's. So he told the officer, he's like, yeah, some chick I met the other night at the bar. You know, she left it in my car, and I just, you know, I'm hoping I'm going to run into her again, but I haven't seen her. So what he's done is he's explained that it's not his jacket. He has no reason to know what's in it. He doesn't know. There's no knowing component to whether or not there was any weed in there. Now, brilliant. Lawyer says they won the case, got the case kicked. He ran into that client a couple months after that, and the client told him that he kept that jacket in his car just for that situation. Person understood what constructive possession means, and knowing is important. Now, I'm not advising that you go out and you buy jackets of the opposite sex that clearly won't fit you and leave them in your car. If anything, I would say, don't carry your weed in your car, man. But that's constructive possession. Now, I have another video that I'm going to link to, and this is by an auditor, Pink Camera Magic. Pink Camera Magic did a video of her going to purchase marijuana tax stamps in Minnesota. Marijuana is not legal in Minnesota. However, you can purchase the sales and use tax, so you can put the stamp on your marijuana package to show that you've paid your taxes. And remember, taxes are how they got Capone. The essence of this is that serves a couple of purposes. First, and for the purpose of this discussion, does possession of marijuana tax stamps constitute constructive possession of marijuana? And the answer is no. It might constitute an intent to possess marijuana. It might show that you know where marijuana can be found, but it doesn't mean that you are actively in possession of marijuana. However, possessing the tax stamps and a package of marijuana with a tax stamp on it could be used to show that you knew that marijuana existed and that you, in fact, are the one to put the tax stamp on it. Because not many people buy the tax stamps. They just don't. I will say, as an aside, you should. You absolutely should. Because when it comes to legalization arguments, the number of tax stamps that are sold can be extrapolated into the size of the market. It's not a perfect calculation, but it does give an idea of how much marijuana is being sold and what the legal tax revenue may be. Even if you don't smoke marijuana, if you're in a state where you can purchase a packet of tax stamps, go buy 10. Go buy 10, and hell, especially if you don't smoke marijuana, go buy 10. It'll really help confuse law enforcement. Now, when it comes to that part of the constructive possession, merely possessing the tax stamps does not make constructive possession. And actually, if you have tax stamps on you and they find a baggie of marijuana that doesn't have a tax stamp on it, there could be a reasonable argument made by your lawyer that you purchased the tax stamp to put on the marijuana. If you knew it was there, you would have put the tax stamp on it showing that you paid taxes on your marijuana. The flip side of that is also true. If the baggie of marijuana has a tax stamp on it and you're in possession of tax stamps, then there could be an argument made that you knew that that marijuana was there because you put a tax stamp on it. That knowing is part of the battle. The second prong is dominion control. Merely knowing that somebody has drugs is not the same thing as exercising control over them. Any of you that have been involved in the drug culture will understand that there is probably not a faster way to get yourself shanked than to steal somebody's cocaine. You want to get killed, you fuck with somebody's cocaine. You don't do it. So, whether or not you're going to be able to exercise control over that substance. Control means you're making the decision of what to do with it, how to possess it. The way control works for law is much lower. It's a much lower idea. It's not that you're the exclusive decision maker. It's that you could physically touch it and move it. And that's the reality. Now, if you're arguing control, you've got to have somebody you can point to. That's not mine, that was Bob's. Oh, and you wouldn't take Bob's weed? No, I wouldn't. Why not? Because Bob will cut me, man. So, you got to have an argument. But that's the essence of constructive possession. I've rambled on about it for far too long. Thank you for watching today. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so that you'll be notified when we post new videos. And there will be new videos coming. I hope that you all took time yesterday to contemplate the sacrifices made by our military in defense of our nation. Memorial Day is one of those days that hits me rather hard. Yesterday was also my youngest son's birthday, so it was a really conflicting day. But thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.